Hello, I'm Tom Lenon from the Chippewa Nature Center, and today I got a great project to do during Earth Week, and that is to either put up bluebird boxes or nesting structures and or check the ones you already have out, make sure they're ready for the season. So today I have what we call bluebird box, and there's lots of different styles of bluebird boxes you can use. This is the one that we tend to like the size, the dimensions for at the Chippewa Nature Center. It's 5.5 by 5.5 interior design, and so that extra room, 5.5 by 5.5, makes it great for the tree swallows as well. This box here, there's some things I really like about it, some things I don't. Number one, it's made of natural materials, got good ventilation on the sides, has a sloped roof to keep away any rain and moisture. So those are great features. A couple things that I prefer to use if I were to make my own nest box, just preference, is I tend to use screws, because screws don't pull apart as easily as some of the nails do that this box is made of. I often will make my back extended so that I can use these wires and get to them easier if I have to make adjustments versus having them inside the box. So let's go put up the box. First thing you want to do when you're sending a box out is figuring out where you want to put it. For bluebirds, you like to be kind of in a small clearing. Big open fields sometimes aren't ideal. They like to be along edges, and particularly they like to be along trees that they can perch in. The male often will sit in the tree and watch over the nest box. Here we have a pole ready to be pounded in. I have a post pole pounder for this, but you can use a sledgehammer or dig a hole and then put it in and just cover it back over like you were planting a tree. I like to use metal poles because predators tend to climb them less than a wood pole or when you attach them to a tree, and so that seems to work good. So here I am, I'm going to pound this in. And that's all it takes to pound in. You can take your nest box with the wires on it already and just go ahead and put it on. I like to get these nice and tight just so it doesn't slide down the post, and I try to bend those in around the T-post. I'll cut the ends off. And then the other thing I like to think about is just the orientation of the box. Again, since the male likes to sit in a tree and look down on the box, I like to orient the hole so that he can actually see the hole, but I also like to keep it from facing the southwest prevailing winds. So a couple other things about a nest box that you may want to know is the material that we use. We'll use either cedar or just regular pine. Pine won't last quite as long, but it'll last 7-8 years is what we find. Cedar obviously will last longer. The only thing I wouldn't recommend using is treated, just because that can be harmful to the birds. One other factor is this predator guard that keeps out the predators. Just gives a little bit of an extension for something like a raccoon to be able to reach in, prevents them from reaching as far. And then the hole size is key. For bluebirds, we like to stick to about 1.5 inch size hole to keep out, especially the starlings. That can be a huge problem. So now we're at a nest box that we had put out a couple years ago. We're going to check it. It's early spring, about April 8th, and so I like to check boxes when it's nice and warm out and it's dry. Certainly when there's chicks, you don't want to be disturbing it on a rainy day or if it's cold, because they could get chilled. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's inside. So we do have some activity here. Again, this nest box hasn't been checked since last spring, and ideally you check it more than that because of the situation we have here. Looks like we actually have 2 different nests in the same box. Bluebirds will re-nest, and so there was probably an original nest right here and then another nest built on top. Bluebird likes a kind of a shallow nest made of grasses like this, and sometimes you even have little pieces of plastic and things like that added in. And so when checking these boxes, you can check that out and get it cleaned out really nice and clean. I wear gloves because some of these birds, especially mice and things that will use these boxes occasionally, will carry diseases. I try not to breathe any more than I need to, the dust from the boxes. And then I just check, make sure there's no wasps, nests in the top or anything like that, and you're good to go for another season. Here we are at a second nest box that we're going to monitor for the year, make sure it's ready for the upcoming year. In this case, we do have a problem. The roof is cracked. leaving quite a crack down the center, which allowed moisture into the nest. That's not a good situation. So what I'll do is I'll come back later, put a new roof on this, but that's the reason to check them on a regular basis is great. So this one here has also been used. And in this case, it looks like there was a good bluebird box or bluebird nest in the bottom. You can see that that's that flat basin nest that has straw and feathers. That was probably used last year. We just walked up on this box and a house sparrow flew out of it. And you can see this tends to be more of a house sparrow nest where it's just got tons of feathers, a lot more than what you'd see in a bluebird nest. And so that one is going to be thrown away. Anytime, even during the year, you're monitoring these nest boxes, which I like to check them every week during the nesting season. If you see a house sparrow, I always destroy the nest because they're invasive, and if you can get rid of the nest, that prevents that many more birds from being in the area, and that helps. So the box I just put up and then the 2 boxes we just checked are at my own little piece of property. At the Nature Center, we actually have 83 different boxes out right now. And again, we see all types of birds using them. We see the bluebirds, the tree swallows, black-capped chickadees, tufted titmice, house wrens. Those are all different birds that will use these boxes. You can always tell the house wren because they're full of sticks. And matter of fact, the house wren will have its actual nest in the sticks. It'll kind of have some grass and stuff inside the twigs. But it also create a bunch of dummy nests that are just sticks. And they do that in a lot of the boxes around the area because, again, they want to decrease the amount of competition in the area. The neat thing about the Nature Center is we get lots of people involved. And so we actually have a girls' STEM club, 7th graders from Northeast that come out every year to check the boxes and to monitor them. They keep some data. We also have other volunteers and other school groups that will come out and help check these boxes. So it's a great thing to do in the spring. I highly recommend, especially during this Earth Day week, that you can get out, either put up a box, check your boxes if you haven't, and enjoy the nice weather.